Of course, I did make a promise in the video of my last Zootopia video. If the first one was super successful, I'll make another kind of video of Zootopia. And today I gotta keep my promise. And today we're gonna look up from the two busy popular characters from Zootopia that never was in the original one will be Sky and Savage. Now, these two characters may sound familiar because they were appearing out of nowhere in the fandom, but also quickly disappeared because these two characters is basically were the original Nick and Judy of the original Zootopia, because the original Zootopia wasn't what you think it was. It was more like a pitch of 007 kind of parody, and we actually follow a character called Savage, who is a jackrabbit. But when the pitch was given out to Disney wasn't interested of making a Jack Savage movie. They were interested of the city of Jack who used to live in, and this is why they sort of dropped to Jack, to Nick, to Judy. And that's sort of the interesting twist, because believe it or not, the fan believe they see something with these two specific characters, Savage and Sky. And you know what? Yeah, I truly believe it, because every single story they made or idea pitch with these two characters in the fandom, it is actually pretty interesting. I think one of the biggest interesting things about them, people said this sort of two characters sort of rivals to Nick and Judy, but also with love triangles, love squares, or basically enemies. But yet, it kind of makes sense to bring these two characters and set them in the original Zootopia movie if they choose to use them. But because of this, fans couldn't wait and made their own versions and make it sort of kind of interesting. Of course, I'm going to be breaking down a little bit more about who is basically Savage and Sky. Before I do that, my name is Rachel. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, you like how it's going, like to help my channel, put a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do. If not, that's fine. If you do, thank you, because of you, I'm getting close to my main goal of 2,000 subscribers. And yes, I'm getting close every single day because of people like you. People put like, comment, and share. Thank you. Now the Kickstarter of sort of the forgotten characters of Zootopia of Savage and Sky. Now let's get started. Now, this is the interesting part about Bessie Savage and Sky, is that they don't really have origins or details information about their character downwards. We have nothing to really go with. Only thing we know is Savage is a 007 parody, and Sky could be maybe his right hand man, the engineer, or the inventor of any gadgets of Bestie Savage, or even a Bond girl. We just don't know, because the idea never went that far. But this is the thing make the fandom kind of interesting. They took that and be more creative, because you give them sort of a blank slate with a couple of traits and a character design, the fan could run away with it because it's just sort of free to do whatever you want with them. But this case, they have sort of a fan-fairy way to write both characters. For example, Savage could actually be sort of kind of secret agent from the MIA or sort of other organization like that. Usually people who write him exactly, he's sort of kind of quit or trying to reassign himself with a different job in Zootopia, doing what he's supposed to do with his own job. But his sort of character traits is sort of between Nick and Judy. They're sort of fusing both characters to create something completely different. But you believe we're not kind of repeating the same thing like Nick and Judy? Not really, because it really gave the both interesting ideas of Zootopia. Basically, not really understanding what a character looks like, sort of assuming it, but you assume wrong because that character doesn't act what you think it is. What I mean is, Savage is sort of a jackrabbit who actually is more rougher than Judy, but yet he has very justice ideas of being sort of civil, but yet more sneakier and more deadly than actually Nick. But that's what makes it so fascinating, because every time they put basically Savage in any AU Zootopia, he could be sort of a rival of Nick and love interest of Judy, but not really. Sometimes reverse, or sometimes they just both enemies. There depends of which writer who picked this sort of character and put him in the fandom or whatever AU they're writing. But this one made him so loosey-goosey. They can make whatever terms the feel right, especially with Sky. Sky is now kind of similar to Judy, but more kinder and swifter like Nick, but she is not really hand-to-hand comment. She is sort of more kind of a trickster, but yet sweet and kind, who you actually defriend her, you can be basically her right-hand man or best friend would defend you of your best interests. This would make it so interesting, and they write both characters in the AU because Savage and Sky, they're so different, but they sort of connect to each other because how their thoughts are interesting, how they actually act around them, and that's what it made it so interesting every time they write with Nick and Judy, because of all four characters in sort of an AU, something that becomes sort of a love triangle or a love square or something just rivals or Lancer. It goes a lot of different directions to write them because how flexible and interesting that sort of dynamic could be in ADAU. For example, I think the best U to talk about is sort of the most popular one, Blackjack. Now, this fan-made comic or manga is created by Rem 209 and also MU, if I said the name correctly. It's sort of a both creators working together create this new sort of AU that is completely finished, because if you don't know, every time they create sort of two different artists working together, sometimes has a falling out and have to delete everything, or they don't want to finish it, or some BS happen behind the scenes. But this case, Blackjack is completely finished, the beginning to the very end, but it has one major flaw. It's sort of a kind of a James Bond parody. What I mean is, if you know the sort of kind of genre, sometimes they won't answer what actually happened, or you have to sort of reinterpret it some sort of way. Not all 007 sort of genres follow that sort of thing, but they do a lot of confusing things to figure out the mystery what happened to the very end. But they chose to basically not answer what actually happened exactly. They leave you your own interpretation what happened at the very end. This could either piss you off, or you actually enjoy it because you could reinterpret what actually did happen. Now, I have to admit one specific thing, the art just slaps hard. I mean, it's one of those things, if you're the type of person who likes good art but doesn't really care of the story, this is probably for you. But you're one of those people who prefer story than art, but they have both high quality, this is for you also. Just remember, it doesn't really have a sort of ending. I mean, it has an ending, but doesn't clarify. But the art just itself, it just slaps. It's so well made, give expression. It's just so high maintenance. It's just incredible sometimes. But other than that, that's all I can say about the art. To me, I really enjoy it. In fact, I do recommend it. Just remember, it doesn't answer the best question you can see finding on Google. Just Google it, Blackjack Zootopia or Zootopia AU Blackjack. You will automatically find it. It's not that long. You could actually finish almost like an hour words. Or there's some fan dubs, but not all of them are complete words. But it's up to you if you want to actually look for it. But other than that, I think let's start with the breakdown of this specific AU. Now, the story of this Blackjack sort of manga / comic is best you follow Bessie Savage kind of landing down in CPD to actually meet all the officers down below, to actually recruit some of them to do a very secret mission for his own organization. But during this time, Savage have a sort of quiet enjoyment with Judy. Something about her kind of grabs him to actually talk to her, learn more about her, and he actually kind of fall in love and has a thing with Judy because she is super well skilled and very proper. But this is kind of rough the feathers very, very badly of Nick. That Nick and Savage just don't mix. In fact, the first time he saw Savage looking at Judy a certain way, he did not like it. He didn't really know how to say it. But at the very end, he would be professional, say hi, hello, my name is Nick. But even that, he has sort of vibes about Nick to Savage. Something about him rubbed him the wrong way. He does not trust him. And Savage is the same way. Because of this, the sort of kind of testing of the sort of kind of secret mission starts, and Judy automatically passed of one of the few members that Savage chose for this secret mission. But he never actually chose Nick, even that he was sort of the top 5 best cops in this ZPD organization that Savage chose not to. During this time, you could actually get more information about what's going on behind the scenes with Savage is its own organization. This is the point what I mean is sort of kind of vague and leaving your own interpretation. It's because he was sent there to infiltrate and stop sort of kind of maybe a terrorist group. We're not really sure. They didn't go that detail, but he kind of went there to pick a sort of select group to do this specific mission. During this time, he tried to sort of talk to Sky that she's doing his own thing, but not really noticing Savage. And Savage is sort of talk to Sky awkwardly that he trying to make conversation, trying to give her a gift to maybe go out or see what's going on with her right now. But life interrupts him for his own mission of the organization. But this is the thing. Savage knowing something started off. He doesn't know what, because there were some people looking at his own home, looking at his background. So that's why he kind of called some of his friends to look it up what's going on. And Sky something noticed with Ashley Savage. She also noticed something's completely wrong, that she decided her own investigation because Savage will not talk to her, and the organization she works on are just sort of kind of not talking to her. And that's what kind of make her kind of curious. Something is up. During this time, Nick going back to the ZPD with Savage, Judy, and Nick, trying to figure out who could be chosen on this team. But Judy noticed that, yeah, she got chosen because of her high ranking and all her skills, but she's surprised they did not choose Nick. This is the reason why she goes face to face with Savage and her, asking what's up, why Nick was not chosen. He is the right person to go to this group. And Savage trying to lowball Judy, saying, oh, no, it's nothing about that. He just didn't have the right scores. He didn't have the right stuff. And Judy called it BS that no, he is equally as skilled as her. What's up with this? And they sort of have this sort of conversation, wondering that if Judy will let it go, Savage trying to lie, a lot of things win that specific scene. A couple of days later, finally, they will notice that Nick will actually finally join the group. But Nick doesn't really like this because once more he doesn't like Savage, but he do this for maybe Judy. They sort of have mixed emotions because Nick really likes Judy, but he doesn't know how to approach it. This is the thing, sort of well image of especially Savage and Sky to Nick to Judy. They have almost a similar relationship, but at the same time how some of the characters reattract to each other. Like Savage to Judy, they have a lot of emotions. Every time they near each other, something just clicks, like almost magic. And this is the reason why the Savage are sort of hesitating to make this team, because he doesn't want to hurt Judy or anyone else, but also it has sort of a bad aftertaste of this specific mission, that he not trusting what's going on till he decided to betray everybody and do the mission by himself. During this time, you find out it was sort of explosion, a scuffle of a secret location they are meeting, that Blackjack barely meaning alive, whatever actually happened, sort of stopped. But that's sort of how kind of the mission ends, and you see Nick and Judy sort of kind of making up, understanding what happened going on, what kind of things they actually having, etc. It's one of those mangas that is really good with flaws, but you still really enjoy it. It's something just the chemistry of all three main characters, be Savage, Nick, and Judy. And also a little bit of Sky because of some dynamics with Savage. But interestingly enough, Sky never met the other characters. She's sort of a side plot, something's going on, but never the main focus. It just sort of made for sort of kind of show sort of like a mirror image of Nick and Judy to Savage and Sky. But at the very end, it really does work. You really do enjoy the chemistry of all the characters. And what if you make a sort of sequel sort of scenario, bring Sky and Nick? This is sort of what a dynamic could actually bring in if they decide to just bring him in the Zootopia movie. But sadly, they never did. But the fandom does not let you down, because they have more little things like that, make it sort of re-question it why they decide to remove Savage and Sky, because they do have a lot of potential of a love interest if they choose to continue that if in the movies. Because for right now, the sequel movie is not coming out yet, but it's one of those what if they've done this something very similar. In fact, I kind of wish they just borrowed the idea from the fandom, because let's face it, they were their idea that just chose to not use it. And that's sort of sad, because Sky and Savage has a lot of potential to do something very interesting. Could easily become bad guys versus Nick and Judy, and share the different relationship with two different species in the Zootopia. You have so much things to do with them, but I'm surprised they just never actually use them. In fact, I recommend read any random AU about them, because they are truly very interesting how they use their dynamics with Nick and Judy. Of course, they did not use almost every U. They sort of other every U, because they're not super popular, but they're popular how they have used them in the AU, in other words. But other than that, I can't really say much. In fact, do you know about Sky and Savage? Do you know about Blackjack? If not, tell me down below what other AU you know and recommend me to actually look it up. I got nothing else to say, just thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Bye.